Hello, Open Fire. I am Minister Tamalia, and I was healed from incontinence. With incontinence, it had me, what it is when anytime you would laugh or cough or do anything, you would kind of just tinkle on yourself. That's the very proper way I'm going to say it. And when you have children, women kind of go through that. But it seemed like maybe 2 years ago, it had started to get really worse for me. I could not do anything. I laugh, I cough, I sneeze, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And to a point where I would become fearful. And so for 2 years I was walking around with it, slightly embarrassed, but no one knew that I was embarrassed. Then when I would go up to pray, when I would begin to shout and try to enjoy the worship, here I was having accidents on myself and having to carry extra clothing, and so it just became very uncomfortable, very embarrassing. And even as a wife, I really couldn't even talk about that with my husband, so I was walking around a bit ashamed that was happening. But then I realized that I was becoming fearful, and so what it began to do, I began to hold my praise, or I would contain myself so I wouldn't dance anymore. I stopped dancing. I stopped really putting effort in my praise because I didn't want to have an accident. And I realized that the fear started to get bigger than my praise. And I know that my praise is what got me here. So, but then I also was embarrassed because I was like, people were coming to the altar getting healed from what I thought was major things, and I had incontinence, and I was thinking, God, that's not really important to you. That's something I can live with. And one day I was getting ready for church, and I heard God say, literally, Pastor Spells is preaching, ask him to pray for you. And I didn't even know he was preaching. I just heard God say it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to ask him to pray for me. I still hadn't made up in my mind yet that I was going to give it, because I was getting used to just living with it. And then I went to church, and Pastor Spells was praying that day. And I went up for prayer, but I didn't go up for prayer for that. And as I was walking away from the altar, Holy Spirit said, go back and have Pastor Spells pray for you. And no, let me back up a little bit. That same morning, I went to the restrooms because I had begun to exert, and I had an accident. And in the bathroom, before I went up for prayer, I said, in anger, I said, I'm tired of living like this, because I didn't have any extra clothes. And so I went back. Now, it wasn't anything major where I had to really change out of my clothes. I'm talking about extra undergarments. Well, anyway, I went back, and when Pastor Spells prayed for me, immediately it went away. I thought it would be something that would be progressive. And even as I went through the next couple of days, I would cough to see if it really I was instantly healed at the altar. I want to encourage someone, no matter how you think how small it is and how embarrassing it is, and how we think the world will think that is something that we should live with for the rest of our lives, because there's many other people that live with it. But being a believer, being in the kingdom, knowing that I am entitled to all, God said that we heal all diseases, that we're healed from everything, that don't be comfortable with anything small. Be like the woman with the 2 mites. No matter how small it is, still give it to God. And give it to God knowing that you will be healed from it instantly or progressively. So be encouraged and get your healing.